All right, we're back. We got a great edition of The Climb. Got a round table. Got some of the best guests. Got some of my board members, some of my good friends. We got Alan Mack. Thanks for coming back, fellas.
What's
Let's
good?
go.
Welcome back.
As always, honored to be on here, man.
You
Absolutely.
know, if I had like a real producer helping out with this show, I would have that like I don't know who sings it, but that "Welcome back" and that like song. You like that. Welcome back. You know what I'm saying?
We would have a theme song.
Just
I was
roll
gonna
right
say,
into it.
we would just have a song.
The
Yeah,
vibes would be so much better than me quietly trying to sing a nice melody of "Welcome Back."
hey,
But here we are.
We can always edit that out.
Yeah, I don't think so. I know the editor. He's not going to have the time to do it.
we knew what you were going for.
So how we doing, fellas?
I can't complain, man. I mean, little case of the Mondays, but I'm on the climb right now with two of my favorites. So
Absolutely.
we're ending the day well.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. It was it's definitely a Monday, but we're through it. You know, end of the day, Monday Night Football's coming up. It's a good time.
Yeah,
Go Lions.
that's good. Yeah, I pretty much locked up both my fantasy teams with 2 Lions left to go. So I'm just excited to see the point differential I'll get.
I wish I were so lucky.
Yeah. So, fellas, I'm not doing too hot. I think I've talked to you guys, but bit of a rut. I'm trying different things. Dealing with my diagnosis of being bipolar, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I wanted to bring it to the surface of the climb because it looks like everything's rainbow and sunshine here in this perfect picture of Philadelphia, but not always the case here in Newtown in the Garbowski residence. So I was looking for some help. I thought it would be great to have you two on and want to know maybe, if you guys had some advice for me or the audience. I'm in a rut. What do you guys do if you're in a rut? Let's have a conversation around that. Maybe have a couple ideas flowing and maybe I'll grab onto a couple and come back in a month or so, see how everything, went and result. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we tend to do as a group, and I think that the first recommendation I always have is talking it out. So this is kind of the jumping off point, I feel like, for anything that you want to get out or you want to discuss, get some advice on. So this is kind of where we start as a friend group, I feel like.
Communicate. 100%. I agree with Al there. Something that helps me, AJ, and I see it a decent amount actually. Just writing your problems down. They say writing your problems down and it's solving half of it right there. So we've talked obviously, but anyone going through a rut, I feel for you. But there's people out there that love you and want the best for you. So like Al said, communicate, talk to friends, talk to loved ones, and then like I said, definitely helps writing stuff down and just organizing your thoughts and helping get back on track to
Bouncing
getting out.
off of that, Mac, I think that journaling sometimes can be, intimidating, but it can just be as simple as just writing notes on your phone. I mean, that's what I do. If I'm, middle of the day, you're in the middle of work and you don't necessarily have the dedicated time maybe for journaling or anything like that, writing it down in a notebook or on pen and paper, but you can always jot something down in your notes on your phone, even just texting something to yourself I've done before, and it's just a quick way instead of having to make it a bigger thing.
Now, let me ask you guys this, because I talked about it a couple episodes ago about positive self-talk, right? And I have been for over a couple months now journaling, but like trying to jazz myself up. Like, hey, you're the man, you're doing great. Is that to a sense, do I need to put that to a stop and maybe try to like get my feelings out? Like, hey, you feel like shit. And let's talk about that. Pen to paper. Let's talk about what's going on in your head and why you're so stressed out. I mean, what do you guys typically, where are you going in these journaling sessions? Do you go into those deep down, insecurities, or are you just kind of reporting?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take this one first, but I think that you have to address how you're feeling. You can have the top positive self-talk, but you also have to allow yourself to acknowledge what you're feeling. Because if you don't do that part, I feel like it doesn't allow the self-talk to be true. I feel like it's almost you're posing to yourself that everything is fine. You have to acknowledge that some parts of it are obviously not fine in the moment.
Yeah, we all know you can't lie to yourself, man. It's just going to make things worse. Being able to have that open discussion with yourself, when you're not feeling great it's paramount. It's huge. Definitely continue, positive self-talk. I definitely, we've talked about that, AJ, how important that is. But it's still possible to not feel great and still be in a rut, even with all that positive self-talk. So like Al said, that's just, I feel like that's the way to go about it. Definitely be able to have open conversations with yourself, because you got to be able to have those with yourself. You're going to have them with other people.
True.
It all starts with you.
Yeah, it
That's a
almost
good point,
feels like
though.
at times. Oh, sorry, Al. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a good point because I know, knowing Mac the way I do, I think that you're very strong at self-talk and positive self-talk at that, and I think that you also put it out there on social media to encourage others to have that positive self-talk. So I think that that's the other side of the coin that maybe doesn't get talked about as much is that you also have to identify that, addressing of the negative self-talk. You have to at least address it because
They're
if you
there.
don't,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's the positive self-talk is almost useless.
It almost feels like at times, like I might have torn my ACL or torn my bicep, and I got one of them Crayola band-aids, slapping it on there. So just hoping that the band-aid of positivity overwhelms something that I need to rehab for 8 months, if not to a year. And with you guys saying that, like, it makes a ton of sense because I've journaled before, and I feel as if sometimes I get in my own head where I'm like, oh man, if I dive too much into the weeds of the negativity, I'm just gonna ruminate and stay there. But there's got to be a healthy way to just get it out, leave it out, and move on. And probably journaling a little bit more heavily focused on let's get it right out and let's keep it out instead of hey, let me bitch to my notebook and then I'll see you back tomorrow for the same bitch session. you know?
No, you gotta use the Teflon pan method. You've got to allow it to be in the pan, but then you got to let it slide off. That's how that's my
Like that.
mantra. You got to do Teflon pan. You got to have it slide off. You have to acknowledge it, but you got to let it slide off.
That's good.
I like
That's
that, Al. I like that.
good.
I haven't heard that before, man.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we got journaling, which I like a ton, and Al talking it out. I mean, let's talk about that because I think I'm a pretty open person and been doing this for quite some time, over 10 years, been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Not as easy to just talk about it. So, how could one person, like for me, sometimes like I don't even, it's not worth it. Like I don't want to catch you up. I don't want to get you worried. I, I don't want to like put that emotion out there. So, how do we bridge that gap? How do we make it easy? And Al's probably the best person to talk to about because he's made it so easy for me. But like, man, for everyday person that isn't really opening up, how can we make it easy as someone that might be receiving that communication for them to really air something out?
That's a great question, man. It really is because I mean, our whole discussion, man. It's a climb. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Nothing about it's easy. Like it's for me. I literally look in the mirror, man. I'll look at myself straight in the eyes, and I'll talk to myself. I'll literally have a discussion with myself, and what's going on in my life, whatever's bothering me, whatever it is. But like I keep saying it starts with you, man. But I start off with that. I start baby steps, small steps. Try not to think about the problem as a whole. Be where your feet are. And just take it a step at a time. And, I think people who are a little timid, a little scared to reach out, that's perfectly normal. I mean, I feel like, that's most people. It's hard to open up. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But I think knowing that other people, and I mean, everyone pretty much goes through their own version of mental health battles and struggles and ruts and obstacles and hurdles. I think it helps, at least for me, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about being open about my struggles. And just don't, and just trust, trusting my friends, trusting my loved ones that, they're not going to judge me, like they love me, they want what's best for me. So, believing that, knowing that, trusting all that, definitely helps. But it's baby steps, man, for sure.
That was a good point on the small steps. I think that's definitely something that I've adapted to. It's, don't attack the entire problem, whether it's, a series of things that are causing you to feel a certain way, or a couple of situations that have maybe caused you to kind of swerve off your path and you don't want to spiral. I think that the best way to kind of course correct is just one step. You just need one step in the other direction, and then that can kind of cause a snowball effect. So, I think that breaking it down and not focusing on everything at once, or the big picture and all the different consequences, or, side situations that might occur, you can't attack all of it at once. That you're taking on too much. So I think you make a really good point of just kind of breaking it into smaller steps and getting small wins that can kind of gain momentum in the right way.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. That's really, really important. And I guess I can speak to it a little bit more easily than other people. But I'm gonna get to the other aspect of it where how can someone be better receiving? And I'll point to my relationship with Al. Al is consistent. If I respond to Al and say, "Hey, I'm having a great day," and "Hey, Al, I'm on the brink of a crisis," he has the same tone with me. He has the same eye contact, and he has the same worth. He's not going to be, "Fuck, man, you're screwed. Let's get you help." He's not going to freak out, and he's going to keep me calm. And I think that's really important. I think people need to be themselves consistently to earn the trust of people that are struggling. Why would someone ever want to come to you if you're going to freak out and make the situation worse? If anything, talking from experience
So true.
Makes it way worse. So that's what I think, fellas. I mean, Al, you can't really answer because I'm talking about you, but Mac, for you, I'm sure you would agree that, consistency is that's all I can ask for. Just be the same person.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I think that's it. You just have to kind of, it's just about accepting that if they're coming to you with an issue, they're already seeking help. So that already tells me that you're not at the end of your rope. You're at least rationally trying to improve your situation, whether it be anxiety, depression, a series of just tough days that added up and you're just in a hole. But if you're reaching out to that friend, and that's how I always kind of identify, either whether you reach out or other of our friends reach out, it's okay, well, they've initiated it, so they're already in a certain mindset that they're seeking help.
Yeah. Which they might not even realize that they're ahead of where they're at. They might
still
think they're a couple steps behind, but just by going out of their way to try and get help, you're already going the right road, man, down the right road.
Exactly. Let me get your guys' take on this, because I say this quite often when someone opens up to me. I mean, let's just say, if I'm speaking to a group or, someone seeks me out, I will always, towards the end of our conversation or them venting to me or explaining something, I will always commend them about their strength and give them hey, listen, you're really strong for opening up about this. So it turns the situation from, I've never felt more weak in my life, to, oh my God, this person thinks I'm like unbelievably stronger than everyone else from opening up. And I think that's so important. It's not lying. It's the honest truth that, man, that was really hard of you to open up. Like, thanks for sharing. Like, I don't think I would have had the cojones to do that at your age. Like, good for you. And it 360s it. So you receive it a certain way, but then you turn it back and reflectively listen. Oh wow, you're going through that, but like, first off, I want to commend you. You speaking up is rather incredibly strong. You should be super proud of yourself. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. Like it's not that hard, but I've seen it change people's complexion when I talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it can be difficult, but you don't just hear it, man. You feel it, when people open up to you. Like I mean, it's soul to soul
Yeah.
communication, it's getting me, emotional just thinking about it, man, because I'm grateful for those conversations. Those are some of my favorite conversations that I've had in my life, just because I know how beneficial they were for me and what I was going through, my whatever, my struggles in my lifetime. But yeah, AJ, just even be able to do that to for yourself. Like I was saying, like when you have these discussions with yourself and you allow yourself to feel these feelings, commend yourself, man. Give yourself a pat on the back. Like, it's not freaking easy. It's so freaking tough, man. Like, you deserve it. You're both freaking awesome people, man. I love you both. You guys know that. But yeah,
Likewise.
when you need it, when you need it, man, commend yourself, bro, because it's not easy. Like you said, it's tough. It's not as it's easier said than done. But I mean, just you feel so much better, man. And like I said, for the people who do it, I mean, I commend them too, man. Like I said, you feel it. You just feel it.
I think you make a good point, Mac, in the sense of, practice what you preach a little bit, because I think that a lot of us have the tools when we're on maybe the listening end, but it's difficult when you're going through it then to remember, okay, well, what do I tell other people to do? And I think that that's a great like jumping off point as like a checking of yourself of like, okay, well, if I were dealing with someone in this position, what am I going to tell them? Because a lot of the time it's probably going to help you as well, whether you want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. Fellas, this was great. I think I said at the beginning, we'll do this more often. But to make like a commitment that we'll do it more often, how about this? What's one thing for me? It's gonna be I'm gonna slam journal like no other until the next time that we get together. I'm gonna be a real bitch to those pieces of paper, and I'm gonna get out some demons, and I'll leave the self talk to just my mirror and me. But that's what I commit to you guys. I'm gonna get real poetic.
I love it. Love
What
it.
is something you guys can, maybe keep yourself accountable, or let us keep you accountable to for the, to the next 3-4 weeks.
Whew. Well, I journal, man. That's something that helps me out. My other big one, but
Yeah,
not obviously, but yeah, that doesn't work for
everyone knows, I told the fellas before we went live where we were trying to aim, and I said, guys, we cannot have fitness because that's all of our first thing to do when we're in a rut. Remedies. It's like we need a little bit of variety here. So clearly,
you know what,
we
man?
love fitness and exercising and what it does for us. But I put a pause to it for the episode. But if you want to work on that, feel free to.
I wanted to mention to you, AJ, and I forgot to mention it, but just something else might help, man. Just I don't know, hobbies. Like it's something actually I want to develop more. Like I don't really have any hobbies, like other than I wake up, work out, I work, and I get home and I watch some TV, and it's probably a game or that's something on, or a rerun of a show I've already seen. So it's like, what can I do to kind of help myself stay out of ruts? Not even get it. Try to avoid them, not get into them. I need a hobby or something. It's just something to help take my mind off. Something I like doing. Something where when I'm doing it, I'm thinking I have happy thoughts. Good vibes.
One of those activities where you
great take.
Focus in on, right?
Yeah. Like just and it's tough. It's not easy. Like I mean, reading's one, but like I definitely want other ones. And I want to not just hobbies for myself, but other people involved. Whether it's like one day a week or something where you get together with a couple friends and you play basketball or whatever, whatever it is you guys paint, whatever your activity is, play music, whatever it is. I feel like that's something else that can also help people who are struggling sometimes.
Dude, great take. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So hobby,
I
you
like that a
gotta
lot.
you gotta find a hobby.
Yes. So you guys can hold me accountable for that. I need to find a hobby.
I like that one. Well, for me, I mean, I think that one of my biggest potential pitfalls, and I know I've run into this in the past, is if I'm not on my routine, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the workout routine or this or that, but it's just, like sleep hygiene or anything of that sort, your day-to-day process. I feel like when I, have something going on, I very easily at times fall off of that routine, and that can then lead to, spiraling downhill. So I think that not necessarily one thing or another, but just dialing it back in to a point where I feel like I'm in control and I'm not trying to catch up with the day or the week, but I'm rather, ahead of it in the sense of I have it a little bit mapped out for myself so that I'm not taking on too much. Like we were talking about earlier, it's not trying to attack everything at once, but it's taking it small steps at a time and I'm breaking it up for myself.
So good. Both so good. So we'll keep each other. Wait, Al, I mean, what do we have to keep you accountable for?
So I mean,
The schedule?
I would like to honestly, similar to you, I want to kind of up my journaling to make sure that I'm hitting those things. Kind of like what you've talked about in the past, where maybe it's not necessarily the journaling aspect because I do that, but
Yeah. Like a habit task keeper. Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I actually do that and I do a good job of that. But the journaling clearly I could let more demons go. Gotta put away the crayon band-aids and get the surgical scalpels out. Really get around this thing. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
One of my favorite expressions comes to habits is if you're disciplined, you're gonna create habits. Once you have habits, you'll develop consistency. Once you have consistency, you're gonna start seeing growth. So you do those things, you're gonna see some good things, man. So
That easy. That easy.
wish it
All
was
right,
that easy.
fellas. Great episode of The Climb. Appreciate both of you. Love both of you. Everyone else, who anyone finds this interesting or, wants us to talk about something, reach out to us. More than happy to. But, like Mac said, like Al said, like I've said previously, we all go through some shit. Whether, it's mental health, physical health, emotional health, or something, in your personal, professional, we all go through something. We don't have to go through it alone. So take a little, tidbits here and there. Hopefully that can help you, your loved ones, but it certainly has helped me. And I know it's helped these guys too. So
100%.
awesome. Awesome episode, fellas. All
Man.
right. All right. Till next time, fellas.
All right, man. Thank AJ.